All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott from Jeff Teaches Programming. And as you can see here in our last video, we finished our discussion, basically our kind of introduction to object-oriented programming, and I began creating our first object-oriented program. And in there I did create our first class, which was a person class. Person class has a first name, a last name, a gender, and an age. I showed you how to create the public properties and two different ways of doing getters and setters for each one of these. But I do want to mention I had a mistake in here. This, I said if it's not M or if it's not F, but since I'm using not equal to, that should have been and. Right now it would have basically blown up in the wrong place. So that'll fix that. All right, so File, Save All. Now let's go in and let's create a new project. Oops. So we want to add a new project. First time I'm doing it with 2026 here, where it's not a class library. It's going to be a C# form. All right, let's see if we can have the right one in here. I think it was Windows Forms app.NET Framework. I believe that's what it was. So we're going to call this person V01. It's our first version of a person. All right. How about person demo V01? Okay. Create. We'll see real quick. Yeah, it looks like that's what we're going to want. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. We don't want a form. We can keep that one there, but we'll do that one later. How's that? So that's person demo V01. In fact, let's get rid of that. Okay, that's gone, and let's get rid of it. Make sure it's gone from here as well. All right, so that's gone. Now let's go back in again. And just like before, we're going to do a solution, add new project, but we're going to use a console app. Project for command line. I think this is the one. We're going to find out. We're going to call this person console V01. See if it's the right one or not. And we'll create. And it's not the one we want. Good gravy. That's okay. I'm not worried about it one way or the other. We'll get it up. We'll get it running in here, etc. in just a minute. Okay, it says we can't remove that one. Let's stop this just so it's save all our changes. All right, now it should be gone. So let's go back in here. Let's start this back up again. Okay. All right, we've got our class. It's got our fix in it. And we will go in, right mouse click, choose add new project. We're going to type in console again. But we don't want console app. We want console app.NET Framework. C#. And that will be person demo console V01. That's what I wanted. Good. All right, before we start anything in here, we will need the collections generic because we're going to use a list. We don't use link yet or the text. We don't need any of this. All right, but I will add our using static system.console. All right. Now, the other thing I want to do is I've got to be able to link to our class that we created. So we're going to do it the same way we've done it before. So you got our person demo console v1. I'm going to add, and I'm going to add a reference, and I want to add the reference. Come down here and find there's people. All right, say OK. Now hopefully it'll take this if I say using people. Now we can use whatever's in the class. All right, so let's get going. I want to be able to create as many of these as I want to create, so I'm going to use a list. Remember, I could use an array here, but if I use an array, it's got to be a set number of people. All right, you can see that right now what happened in here is I was able to come in and use the IntelliSense, and that's going to create my list. All right. And I don't like the name list. Let's call it, oftentimes you do this, you use the same thing. It's a list of people, but I'm going to use the lowercase. All right. So let's give the user, let the user know what to do. So I'm going to do a write line here, and it's going to say, enter info for a new person or exit to quit. That's good enough. Fact, rather than, let's see. Let's not do that here. Let's let the user know first of all. So we'll say write line. We're going to call it it just hit me, new person factory. Create as many new people as desired. All right. And we're going to just do this forever, so we got to give ourselves a way to get out, but I'm going to say while true. All right, now I want to start saying the stuff that I've got in here. All right, so we'll say enter info for a new person or exit to quit. I like that. That's a good start. All right. So we'll do a write. Input a first name. String. I like putting all my stuff at the top. You don't have to do this, but I'm going to do it like this. So I'm going to say string, first name, string last name, string gender, and string age. Now all of them are underlined because I'm not using them yet. So now I can just say first name equals read line. Okay. All right. I'm telling you to enter a first name here, but what if you don't? What if you enter the word exit? Okay, so I'm just going to make a quick check here, and I'm going to say if first name equal exit, we'll just break out of here. Okay, so we're going to input first name, then we will input a last name. Now you could technically type in exit for any of these, but I'm not going to be that literal. So enter a last name, enter a gender, and I suppose, to be fair, I should do this on all of these. Maybe that's stupid. I don't know. But I suppose you could enter under any of these. So we've got first name, check, last name, check, gender, check that. All right. So we've got all those done. And I guess age is the only one we got left, right? So age equal read line. Again, we can make our check. This is kind of silly. It might be overkill, but you technically could put for any of these, you could type in a exit at any time. All right. All right. So here, this is going to look, provide start message. All right. Input first name. Input last name. Input gender. And input age. And where I put input gender, it's the wrong spot, but we'll fix it right now by moving that line. All right. So we'll put in here, check for exit to end program now. And there, and there, and there. All right. Now, if we get down to here, we have entered something for the first name, something for the last name, something for the gender, and something for the age. But we want to come in here and verify that age is an int. So if not, try parse it's int.try parse. If not try parse, well, what do we want to parse? We want to parse the age. And we want to put the output into an integer that we'll call valid age. So if that did not work, all right, we'll do a write line that says age must be a number, person not added to people list. Okay, just to let them know that. We'll do a continue, which will bring them back up to the top to basically let them do their next one. So if we get down to here, something added to each field and age was an int. All right, so we're going to do a try here. So we're going to use a try catch here with the methods from the person class. All right, so try. Now, and don't worry, I'm going to get an error here. All right. I don't want you to have to hear the clock again, so I'm going to stop for just a second. All right, sorry about that. So again, we're going to do this in a try catch. So we want to be able to use the person classes, the stuff that we put in here. Okay, so let's come in and let's try to create a person. Now this is going to call the constructor. And we'll need to pass in a first name, a last name, a gender, and an age. Now we don't want to pass in age, we want to pass in valid age. But technically, let's see. Valid age must be a number, etc. Probably could use age there too. I don't know. So let's see. Okay, we're going to do that, and we're going to attempt. So try to instantiate a new person object. All right. Try to add new person object P to people list. So people dot add P. Remember, this is all in try catch. All right. Give success message. So right line, the person has been successfully added. Could put more, but that's fine. And use the overridden two-string method to output person info, something like that. So right line P. Now it's possible that when we did this, all right, it's possible that when we did this, we had errors, right? So that's going to be our exception. We don't need console, just a right line. We'll use our $sign here. We'll say error. ex.message. That'll show the error, and we'll say right line, and because you want to be consistent here, we'll say how about this? We'll just say was. And we'll say here was not. The person was added to the people list. The person was not added to the people list. That should be good. All right. So allow user to add more people. So we'll say a right line. Do you want to add another person? And again, we'll say yes, no. I need an N there. I don't know why I keep forgetting to put those in, but I do. And that'll be a right, not a right line. We'll call this another string down here. Read another, kind of a dumb name, but it's what I'm going to use. Read another equals read line. All right. And let's do right away, let's do a dot trim dot to lower, or to upper. All right. If read another does not equal y, well, we're done. All right, we're done. So we'll break. Get out of there. All right. So that should be everything that we need inside of our loop to allow us to add people. All right. Now, when we break out, meaning that we're done, so that's the end of our while loop. So if there have been people added, show all of them. Now, okay, it's not great, but it'll work. So if people.count equals 0, if there have been no people added, show associated message. So if the people count is 0, We'll just do a, why does it look funky like that? I don't know. Should all be evened out, but I don't know. We'll just do a right. We'll do a right line. No people have been added to the people list. Otherwise, show all people in the people list. Now, else for each p var p in people, so this is going to print them all out, in other words. We'll put some kind of a delimiter, so between each person. So we'll say right line, I don't know, put a bunch of underscores. We'll see how this works. I'm not even sure if it's going to work. So, and then another right line, P. All right. Now it looks like, I don't know if I've got one too many or one too few. What's going on in here? There's a problem with the curlies. Am I missing one? There we go. All right, well, let's try it and see if we get anything, if it works, etc. No, I have not run this, and I've made tons of changes from what I had on mine. So this is our person demo V1. Set as startup project. And let's give it a whirl. Hopefully there's no errors. There's a start. New person, factory, create as many people as desired. All right, well, there's too many blank spaces there, but that's okay. So let's try one. Jeff, Scott, M69. Looks good. Want to add another person? Yes. Okay, so where it says enter info for a new person, so I don't really need these. And let's put this. It's a little bit of overkill, but that's okay. Let's do a clear when we start. So each person will start on a new line, or a fresh screen, I should say. So new person, in fact, still too many in there, but that's okay. So John Smith, male, say that he's 44. That looks good. Do I want to add another one? Yes. Mary King, female, 36. Do I want to add another person? No. So there they both are. So that all worked, okay? In other words, okay, it does work when you put invalid data. Now we have to check our invalid data. So let's see where it says, do we want to continue? Do you want to add another person? Read another equals read line. If it equals Y, doesn't equal Y, break. So we will do first a clear, and then we'll break. I mean, I'm wordsmithing right now. In other words, I'm trying to make this look decent, for lack of better words. All right, let's go back to where we are actually printing out our person's information. First name, last name, then gender. Let's put a T here. And here. Again, like I said, I'm kind of wordsmithing right now, and that all right. Bob Jones, male, 29 years old. Okay, I can put a tab by the name after the name too. That's okay. Yes, I want to add another one. Mark Klein, male, 55. Sure, I want to add another one. Janet Jackson, female, 48, and no more. Again, that's working. I just have to make sure that I put the put another tab in there. That's all. After the name. Okay, so that's all working. So let's just fix that. All right. Let's run it one more time. And let's run it, put some bad information in. So we'll start by putting in a good thing. So Jeff Scott M 69. Now you can see it's all person was added to the list, and there's the person. Do I want to add another one? Yes. So let's start to put in some errors. It either didn't do anything, or if it showed the information, there were things in here there were clears in there. Okay. So when we came in and attempted to add the new person in here, don't need that. Can keep that one in there. Okay. So when we did this, new person, first name, last name, gender, valid age. So it should have done the first name. It should have come in here. It should have found that this was empty, and it should have thrown that. All right, so let's do this. If there are errors, we're going to put in here a right that says enter any key to continue. And then a read line. I want to see if we're getting those errors so we can look at them and make sure they're working correctly. All right. I've got a feeling that this is not going to be the right place to do this read line though. So File, Save All. All right, that's looking a little nicer. So nothing, 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 nothing. No, that isn't the right place. Now, I don't know. This is going to look weird because it is weird. I'm going to come in here. I wouldn't normally do this, but I'm going to try something here. So using static system.console here. All right. and I'm going to say write enter any key to continue with a read line. Now I'm giving that, why? Oh, since we've got that throw in there, yeah, it would have to go before the throw. Yeah, but if we do it beforehand, it hasn't thrown the error yet. Well, that's the problem when you don't check out your own code first. So I think this is a good place to stop because oh yeah, it's already at 36 minutes. So I'll have to figure this out. Like I said, that's unreachable code because it's already thrown the exception. But I wanted to say this, but it's already thrown the exception. I could put enter any key to continue. I'll have to look at this to see if I can figure it out. Be back shortly. Thanks.